good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Greetings to all our global ambassadors who are joining us live and virtual. We welcome you to Globally Changing Lives Deep Dive. This is an official Unpassive webinar, and we are honored to have you with us today. Please, we appreciate you coming, and we're going to start by playing a signature tune by one of our very own global ambassadors, Sister Lerato Shadare Prosperity. And we call on you to watch the non-verbal communication of the song as it plays, because it sends us messages about what has transpired and is trending in our Unpassive journey. So without further ado, today is Thursday, August 3rd, 2023, and we're going to start listening to that as we watch the music being played by Dr. Derek. Thank you, Dr. Derek. Over to you.
We lost Dr. Eric.
Dr. Derek, your audio is going in and out.
On passive. On passive, the future of internet.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Derek. Thank you. Thank you. Stand clear the closing doors. So from the images that we saw from our nonverbal communication music, some of them were the data center and the train station in Dubai. How about that? No, thank you. And all the secure network, all the most of the programs that are the free ones, they also were shared through those images. So that's what I was referring to as a nonverbal communication. So at this stage, we're moving to the next segment of the webinar, which is the mindset. Our CEO has promised the physical, which is the monetary aspect that we're all looking forward to. But for us to get to that level, are we mentally ready for it? So let's get ourselves mentally ready for that. And we have one person who is going to do that for us. He's the alpha and omega of a lot of things. He helps us understand whatever we are missing when it comes to artificial intelligence, your computers, your software, what you should do and how to do it. And he dedicates time to share that with us. So without further ado, please let's welcome Dr. Derek Clark as he talks to us about our mindsets as we prepare to be in our unpassive journeys. Over to you, Dr. Derek.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you ever so much, Queen Debbie. Really do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And today we are actually going to be looking at making healthy choices. Making healthy choices. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much money you're making. If you're making 2 million a month, it doesn't matter. If you are not healthy, you just simply will not enjoy it. Bottom line, if you are not healthy, you will never enjoy the money that you have. And so, what if I could tell you that I could give you something, give you a pill that it will keep you fit and lean, protect your heart and your bone, good for your brain and your body, make you strong and confident, help you with depression. It also improves mood and memory. It reduces risk of cancer and maybe even clear up your cancer. Add years to your life. Doesn't have any side effects. Because for the life of me, I cannot understand somebody's advertising a pill or a medication, and they are telling you that it will clear up this, but it might cause this, and then give you about 10 to 15 other complications that it's going to cause, but it just might clear up this one thing that you have that don't make no sense. Side effects. And it's very, very cost effective. Very cost effective. Everyone would pay dearly for such a pill. But you think about it. You think about it. There's no such pill really. No such pill. But what if there was a pill? How much would you be willing to pay for that pill? Just want us to kind of reverse a little and go all the way back to creation, because this is very important. Now, for some people, they deal with evolution, and we took millions and millions of years and all of that. But it's going to take more faith to believe that than to believe that there is a loving God of the universe that created me. So any belief of origin have to take faith for us to believe it, because none of us was present at the beginning. But watch this now. People look at the Big Bang Theory and say, well, yes, a big explosion, and we are all here afterwards. More faith. Because no person, not even Darwin or any one of those persons who come up with these things, would believe that they will go to the junkyard, get all the material that is needed for a car, and put all that junk car and junk material and junk carburetor and junk distributor and junk alternator and junk battery and junk everything, and put in the backyard, get 3 or 4 stick of dynamite, blow it up, boom, and out come a brand spanking new BMW. I don't think anyone will ever believe that that can happen, and will even try it, because nobody can believe that will happen. That out of that explosion will just miraculously come a nice brand spanking new 2024 BMW. No, that just won't happen. So why do we think that that's how we originate, from an explosion? All of that don't make any sense. So I believe, and I hope we come to that belief, that it was a loving hand that created me. Just like how it's a loving hand that created the motor vehicle. Whether it's Mr. Ford, or is Mr. Porsche, or is Mr. Ferrari, or whoever, Mr. Chevrolet, etc., etc. It's loving hands. We want to, get rid of the horse and buggy and give us a quicker means of transporting ourselves and others from point A to point B. So it is loving hands that made these different cars and so on. Loving hands that made houses for us to live, to keep us out of the elements. And so therefore, I believe that is loving hands that created us. And so this loving hand that created us is God himself. God himself. Hands down. Started with Adam, and then Adam had Seth and Enoch and Canaan and Methuselah and Mahalalel and Jareel and Enoch and Methuselah and Lamech and Noah and Abraham and Ham, Shem and Japheth and all of these people that we read about in the Word. God made them. And God told Adam to be fruitful and multiply. So he had a lot of children. Same thing God told Noah, to be fruitful and multiply. And the choices that was there, which was given to us from the Creator himself, just like the creator of the motor vehicle, of course, is Ford and so on. And no person on the planet is going to put diesel oil in a gasoline vehicle. No person on the planet is going to put kerosene oil in a gasoline vehicle. It's a fuel. It's a fuel and it can run, but no person is going to actually put kerosene oil in a gasoline vehicle. Nobody going to do that. So why we put kerosene oil in our bodies? Why we put food in our bodies, feed our bodies with things that will damage our body? Why do we do that? I don't know. And so when we look in the Word and we saw that Adam lived 930, that must be fictitious. Seth lived 912. That must be a fictitious number. Lamelech lived 777. That must be fictitious. No, that number could not be real. Why? Because people struggle to live to 100 right now, today. People struggle to live to 50. People struggle to live to, and watch this now. When persons were living in the 900, the antediluvian world, that is the world before the flood, persons were just living, you know, hundreds of years old. Why? Because they were following the plan, the blueprint, the manual, if you please, for their bodies. Just like how we follow the manual, if you please, for our motor vehicle. It's the same principle. Yes, we'll come up with a lot of excuses. Oh, well, you know, if we're going to stages, you know, we're going to shock our body and this, and, you know, you didn't shock your body when you were eating all of those things. So I don't know why we're going to shock our body now, you know, if we're doing the right thing. I'm not sure. But those are the excuses we come up with, because excuses satisfy ourselves. That's how excuses are, right? I don't like water, but I try to drink it. I try my very best to drink it. So what do? When I go to the supermarket, I don't buy no juice. So I am forced to drink water instead, because I just don't buy any juice. And so now it doesn't appeal to me. Without soda, the last time I drank a soda was in high school. High school, right? And so it just is natural for me now. And there's no shock to my body. I just stop. Just stop. Simple. Because if you found out that somebody was putting kerosene oil in your car gas tank, you just stop. And you drain out the gas tank, and you know, blow out the line and clean out the line and clean out your carburetor and clean out your fuel injector and clean out. Same process. Same process. Detox. Clean out your pipes, clean out your fuel line, clean out your cylinder, clean out your gas tank, which is your belly, of course. Clean out all of these things. Boom. And just stop. Simple. And then make the right choices. The evidences are there. Ananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. You might know them as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which is the Babylonian name. But their Hebrew name is Ananiah, Azariah, and Mishael. Those were their Hebrew names. And they proved it. They proved it. They told the commander, listen, just give us water and pulse, nuts, grains, fruits, and vegetable, and little water. And look if we are not 10 times better than your army man them and your soldiers them and so on and what have you, and blah blah blah, quicker, have better mental capacity, have more energy, have more vibrancy, etc., etc. Check it out. And after the 10 days and them go through the test, bam, the 3 Hebrew boys was better in everything, that they changed the diet of everybody in the military back in Babylon, right? So it's there. The proof is in the pudding, right? I have made healthy choices since 1998, and this is where I am now. So I am not telling you something about book. I am telling you something about the choices that I have made, which is based on the best manual for human beings on the planet, which is the Word. The Word is the best manual that constitute what we are to consume and what we should digest in our bodies. And it's not only nutrition or what you put into your body, but it also have to do with exercise, water, rest, temperance, trust in God, especially trust in God, sunlight, and all of these things. 8, I call them the 8 free doctors, because we always paying doctor bill left, right, and center, and you got to visit a doctor and is $500 out of your pocket right there. Take that $500 and buy some good food, do some exercise, and so on, and so that you don't have to go to the doctor. That's the point. Prevention, my great grandmother Dingy always say, prevention is better than cure. So let us, if we really want to enjoy the money that will roll out from Unpassive, if we really want to enjoy our lives, and even if that money don't roll out, if we really want to enjoy a vibrant life, make healthy choices. Because whether you get the money from Unpassive, yes or no, it is better to live with good, healthy choices. Because these healthy choices will allow you to live not only longer, but a more vibrant life. A life that you don't feel cranky. Your elbow pain and your joint pain and your head ache and your belly ache and you can't go to the bathroom every day and all. You need to go to the bathroom 3 times a day. 3 times a day. If you're not going to pass that 3 times a day, then something is wrong right away. That's your first indication. Something is wrong. Yes, I go to the bathroom at least 3 times a day. I'm telling you, because I eat more fruits, I eat more raw veg. Because people, it takes life to feed life. So stop putting the deaders in your body. The deaders cannot help you. Can't help you. It takes live food to feed the live body that you have. And that is why those persons live so long. Watch this now. Moses at 80. Watch this, most people say when you reach 80, it's time to retire. Well, you retire long before 80 anyway. So you're just cooling out and enjoying and kicking the breeze. But watch this. Moses just started to work at age 80. And for 40 years, what am I saying? For 40 years, he get the people out of Egypt, never have a bus, never have a truck. So obviously, they were all walking, including Moses. Never complain, never have to soak him foot in a water and all of those things and, get therapy. And no. So all the way up to 120 years old, Moses was moving, going uphill, fighting battles and all of those things, getting the people out of Egypt. You understand? So it's old age can be a thing of the past. Let us try to understand that. And there are 5 blue zones that actually give us that fact. 5 blue zones. And one of those blue zones is actually in the United States at Loma Linda, California. Right? Another one of those blue zones is in Costa Rica. Another one is in Italy. Sardinia, I think, in Italy. One of those blue zones is in the isolated Greek island. And one of those blue zones is in Akawana or something like that in Japan. 5 blue zones. So you ask, what are blue zones? Blue zones are places that people live to 100 and above 100 without pain, without medication, running up and down, bicycling, swimming, still driving, all those things. Still. So it is evident that if you live the lifestyle by making healthy choices, seriously, Because as Ashmafara said, you cannot do the right thing and complain at the same time. You either complain and find excuses, or you just do the right thing. It's simple. It's simple. You either do or you die. Simple. Everything in life is simple, you know. We are the ones that complicate it. So one, when God created us actually to live forever. And that is why, if you check it out, when you get a cut, don't put any medication on it. Just wash it off with little water. Don't put any dressing on it. Don't put anything on it. And see if that cut don't heal. Because God created our bodies to heal itself. We call it the immune system. So a lot of persons say, oh, you must have allergy. And you know, you must have allergy. You especially if you go to New York. You must have allergy. Listen, I don't have no allergy. Because if your immune system is strong, then you don't have to worry about all of those things. Really, seriously. Right? Preventative health is better than curative health. So, really and truly, preventative health is better than curative health. Let us really, seriously, I am begging you, you live better, you live longer, you sleep better. As I hit the pillow, bam, I gone. I don't have to pop sleeping pill and then pop coffee for wake me up in the morning. No. When I go to, so I don't carry cell phone and all these distractions in my bedroom. My bedroom must be to sleep. Well, you know, you understand. So let us stop carrying distractions. Cell phone, leave in the office, leave in the next room, charging or whatever you want to do. Stop making, you know, decisions that will hurt you. Let us make healthy choices, and these healthy choices has to do with one, your nutrition. One, let me give you them, 8 of them. Healthy choices. One, nutrition. What you consume. Let us stop consuming flesh. Flesh is the worst killer when it comes down to disease passing from animals to animal. Flesh is the worst killer. Let us go back to nuts, grains, fruits, vegetable. Genesis 1:26. Exercise. Oh, I feel lazy, cranky. Let us deal with that. Start with some simple exercises. Water. Please, let us drink water. Your body is more water than anything else. Let us drink the water. It don't taste good, and that is because you're drinking a whole lot of sweet, this sweet, that sweet, sweet, sweet. Everything is sweet. So the water tastes worse. After a while, the water tastes good. I still don't like water, but it tastes better than how it used to taste back in the mid-90s. It tastes better now. Sunlight. Let us get some sunlight. If you cannot get sunlight because you have to be indoor working, well, make sure you take vitamin D. That's the only supplement you really need. Temperance. Let us do away with the bad stuff and be moderate with the good stuff. Let me say that again. Let us do away with the bad stuff and be moderate with the good stuff. Here, every day, you need to go outside and do some deep breathing. Fill up your lungs. Fill up your lungs. Breathe some good, fresh, nice air. And of course, rest. And this especially applies to First Lady Queen Dr. Benny. Rest. Rest. And Queen Debbie. Rest. Rest. Please let us rest. All right? And of course, trust in God. Trust in God that God will take care of you, because God created you in love. God loved us so much that he created us. He created us to live forever. But unfortunately, we choose death. So now death is a part of life. That wasn't the original plan. That is a choice that we made as human beings. We invited death into our earth, on our planet. So, unfortunately, death is a part of life. Something that God cannot stop until he makes his second appearance. His first appearance was to die the death that we created on ourselves. So if we just believe in him, of the sacrifice that he made, that healthy sacrifice that he made for us, to die the death that we should die, then we will be having that life that we originally started out with when he created us. Let us make the healthy choices that will give us the vibrancy that we should have, even when we reach 80 years old, 70 years old, 90 years old. We still have that youthful, vibrant life that God intended us to have. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I hope that these healthy choices will resonate in your mind, resonate on your heart, that if you abide by them, as he said in Exodus 15 and I think 27, that if you stick to my commandment and heed to my laws and my principles, that I will not cause any of the diseases to come upon you that came upon the Egyptians. That's a promise. Let us receive that promise and trust in that promise that God will see you through. Let us make the healthy choices. Thank you very much.
Wow. Dr. Derek, thank you. I said you are good at everything we call on you, the challenges, and you always deliver. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, please get a sip of water because we're going to call on hands. I know you're always drinking. Go and get a sip of water. And we're going to call on anyone who listened to that, those 8 steps of being healthy. Please, if you listen to it, and I know we did, this is the right time to raise your hand and ask Dr. Derek any clarification that you need. He did give us 8 options, 8 very, very vital topics to look at. And let me just ask Dr. Derek, those 8 options that you gave us, is this something you have to practice on a daily basis, or you can pick and choose your battles?
No, it's all inclusive. All inclusive in the hotel. It's all inclusive. It's a lifestyle. And that is why we're not understanding this whole health thing. It's not a buffet menu. It's not a buffet menu. It's a lifestyle. So and when we follow this lifestyle, then we will understand that everything together, just like how the gas in the vehicle and the oil in the engine and the brake fluid, and all of these things give the car that holistic push that it operates in the in the optimum way that it need to operate. So which one you want to pick and choose with in your car? You want to eliminate the oil? I'm not going to put no oil in the, no, not. I can't leave out the oil. You're going to leave out the oil? Oh no, I'm going, all right, I'll leave out the brake fluid. Leave out the brake fluid. Don't bother with the brake fluid. That's how you want to do it? All right. Well, I doubt King Jim would want you to leave out any of those things on your car. So therefore, no, it's not a buffet. It's not a buffet. Nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, and if you don't have proper sunlight, which most people, from once you're anywhere in the North America, especially going up to Canada and all those places, no, you might need vitamin D to supplement, right? Sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. All of them is together in the motor vehicle for the lifestyle that you need to live when it comes down to making that healthy choice. A lot of people just zoom in on nutrition and diet and diet and diet and diet and diet and leave out everything else, and it don't work. It doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. It's a lifestyle, and all of them is inclusive in that lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Derek. I realize it's a buffet, and although you did say it's all inclusive, I have a hard time having all 8. On a daily basis, I know it's a lifestyle. If I'm lucky, I get 5 because it's difficult to get the rest, exercise, and also the air. And that tends to be a challenge, especially when you have to multitask and run from point A to B. So I don't know how to do it. My time management is running out of hand. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to see if there's any way I can wiggle around the buffet rather than the one-stop shop. But anyway, I appreciate it. I have to continue to learn to find a way to deal with it. Thank you so much.
No, well, I was saying it's not a buffet. You cannot pick and choose. It's not a buffet. All of them together is a lifestyle. So it's not a buffet. Can't pick and choose which one to do and which one not to do. All right? That's why we still have some amount of health issues. Because we think we can just pick this one and pick that one and leave that one and leave that one. No, it's a lifestyle. And you check the people in California. That's the nearest blue zone to you. Loma Linda, California.
I have the list of the 5 blue zones: California, Costa Rica, Sardinia, Greece, and Japan. So I'll look it up. Thank you so much. Very much appreciate that. I might pick one of those for my retirement location when that time comes. All right, you have 1 customer. Don't go away. Oh, 2. All right, Brother Joseph, if you can put your last name and where you're calling from, please. First, last name, and where you're calling from, or we can also edit it for you if you don't know how to do it. But the microphone is yours. You can say I will edit it for you.
Yeah, my last name is Ngeneba, and I'm in Florida.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Please proceed.
Dr. Derek, thank you so much. That is a very, very, very important topic that you have touched. And I'm just trying to add to what you have said. The 5 areas, blue areas that you have given, those are the people who are putting those in practice.
Yes, sir.
But God gave us all the foodstuffs that we can eat, whether you are in Japan, you are in Bafut, or you are in Jamaica, or you are anywhere. He placed these things in all the areas. They might not be called the same name,
Yes.
But you can eat those things and they will still give you the same thing that those people in those 5 blue areas have. We just need to know what is it that we need to put in our body, and we put those things in our body. And to add again, we should also know that when God gave us those laws, the food laws, and he told us that if we eat of that, he is going to take away all the diseases from us. He also put 2 witnesses that will look at us. Let me say, if you run across a red light, maybe the police would not see you, but he put heaven and earth as witnesses for us to obey. There is no place where you can go and heaven will not see you and earth will not see you. You break that law, they have witnesses, you suffer the consequences. So that I'm just adding to that we should know. It is true that some people say, oh, finally, when Jesus was on earth, in the New Testament, he said, it is what comes out of you and not what that goes in you, which is very right. It's you who decide to eat what you are eating. So that what that you are deciding is coming out of you. But God had given you what you eat to eat. So if you decide to eat what is not right, it's not God's fault. You have gone around. All those things are available. You go to the stores here, you find them. You go to South America, you find them. It's just let us know what is the type of oil that you put in your car. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Yes, definitely. Because nobody would even put a 2-stroke engine oil in their car. Nobody would do that. Not even that they would do, right? A 2-stroke engine is for 2-stroke engine, like bike. And what some bike use 4-stroke engine oil now. But anyway, when you talk about even engine oil, nobody put what the engine oil, the oil that you put in a lawnmower. It can still work, but nobody will do that. So why do we handle our body the way we handle our body? And then we curse God. Oh, me sick, and you don't want to heal me. Oh, but you make the bad choices. You are the one that made the bad choices, and eat what you want to eat, do what you want to do, smoke, drink, this, that, gallivant, and enjoying yourself, quote unquote. And then now you're vexed with God because you're sick. That don't even make sense. Let us use the wisdom that God give us, that he give us the preventative method. He's not much in the curative method, right? Because it would simply mean that you went down the wrong way in order now to get a curative method. But he wants to prevent you from even getting sick. And you kick him in the face and big up your chest. And, I will do it my way. And then, you're going to problem with your health. And, you feel bad at God. God never take your hand and hold on upon that piece of chicken and beef, steak and all of that. God never do that. You did that. Right? You did that. So it's nuts, grains, fruits, vegetable. That is the diet that God give us when it comes out to nutrition. Adam and his wife was perfect. Why did God tell them to exercise? because you need for your bone, for your muscles, and all of those things, right? They were to dress the garden, keep active, exercise. These were two perfect people. No pain, no strain, no nothings. So 930 Adam, and we struggle today to live to 70. Struggle. It's a big struggle. And if you notice, the word did not say any of them got old. None of them got sick and died. No. They live a full life and then they died. So let us really just follow the word. And as it is in the word, nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, ear, rest, trust in God. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Brother Joseph. Thank you, Dr. Derek. All right, Queen Sister Dr. Benny.
Thank you so much, Queen JP, for giving me this opportunity. I would say a remarkable presentation or mindset. I just want to thank Dr. Derek. But before I do that, I want to really thank our Heavenly Father for bringing all of us and teaching Dr. Derek because to teach us, because when it comes to this healthy style, it's somehow difficult, Dr. Derek. So how about drinking wine? Is it a problem?
Yes, it is.
No. I mean, this is really, I have to ask this question because some of us, we drink wine, but you say it's not good. So it means I have to stop.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Derek.
Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging. And he who does it is not wise. That's the word. That's the word.
Dr. Derek.
You didn't know that? You didn't know that that was a word?
No.
Okay.
Well, so no wine, no beer, no champagne, nothing like that.
No, ma'am.
No, Queen Debbie, this is serious. I have to ask. So it means that all these people drinking, they are crazy somehow. Okay, let me shut up. Now, Dr. Derry. Now,
Proverbs 20 and verse 1. Look at it. Proverbs 20 verse 1. Because you might think I'm just saying things because I love saying it. But just follow the word. It's easy. It's simple.
Proverbs 20, right?
Proverbs 20 verse 1. Yeah. Read what it says.
Jesus Christ. People, please forgive me for asking this question. It's gonna, well, okay, I'll read it later on.
No, read it right now. Read it right now. Make everybody hear. Read it right now. Proverbs 20 verse 1. You read that.
Hey, Psalms, Proverbs. Okay, hold on. I was looking. Okay.
Psalms, Proverbs.
Yeah. 21, verse 1. Oh, I see it. Jesus.
Read it, man. Read.
Okay, hold on.
Read it.
Wine. Okay. Wine is a mocker, and beer a brower. Whoever is led astray by them is not wise. Chai, God. Okay. I will never drink it again.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, wait. Now, when it comes to the age, I noticed that Abraham's father, Terah, died at the age of 205. So you want to tell me it was not real? 205, despite the fact that you have...
I know it was real. That's a real age. 205 years old. Yep. That is real.
So how about the 950?
Everything was real. Real. When it come on to age, every age that you see in the world is a real, just like how right now some of us live to 74 or some live to 93. I think Dr. John father is at 93 or 94, something like that. Isn't it a real age? Yes, it's a real age. So if persons can live to 93 and 100 and 103 and 120, why you think people couldn't live to 200 and maybe 300 and 400 and 900? Why? Because you remember closer to that side of creation, remember people were in much better health condition. We have wandered far away from home, like the prodigal son, and dancing and reveling and drinking and gallivanting and doing all these things now. So unfortunately, we are running towards Sodom and Gomorrah, running towards Sodom and Gomorrah, running towards Sodom and Gomorrah. And we expect that there is no consequences. I don't know we think that. Don't know we think that. But anyway, it is what it is.
Okay, I'll be quiet at this moment. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Queen Debbie, I will not drink wine again.
Thank you, Dr. Benny. We learn every day. I appreciate you. And Dr. Derek, thank you for the knowledge. Very much appreciated. Brother Joseph, I see your hand is up again. And then after that, we're going for a presentation of the day. Over to you, Brother Joseph. I see your hand up again. I guess you want to add something which you didn't do this first time. You can unmute now.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that the same wisest person on earth, Solomon, also told us that if you sit on the table with kings and see all the delicacies that they present in front of you, take a knife and put it in your throat by yourself. What does that mean? All the parties that we attend and we find all the food that is delicious sitting there, and the wine, the beer, all what the sweet drinks, the sodas, those are all delicacies. We should take care. We should be careful. If it's better you know what you are eating in your own house than eating what you don't know. The choices are ours to make. Just as you asked the question whether the 200, Abraham's father died at a 200 and something, you should remember that after the flood at Mount Ararat, when they came out, God told them, okay, you can now eat meat. And when they started eating the meat, did you discover that that is when the ages started dropping very fast? Did you discover that? And what has happened to us? Let me come closer to us now. That time they were still living in the mountains, rearing their cattle, and even if they ate some. We are now in the townships. And what do? In 3 months, a cow is ready for us to eat. 3 months. Hormones, antibiotics, all of those things. Do we consider all those? How many weeks does a chicken take to go to the market? Highest 12 weeks. 12 weeks. And you go there, it is there. Do we consider all those things? That is one of the reasons that our own age has even dropped from 200 to 60, and we are still very happy with it. So we should take all those things into consideration. The Bible is the manual for life. Dr. Derek is talking of healthy eating. Healthy eating is not diet, because diet is for a period of time, and healthy eating is for the whole of your life, and that's why you live that time. Thank you, Dr. Derek.
Thank you very much, Brother Joseph. Thank you. Dr. Derek, you want to say something before we move on?
No, God. Yeah,
all right.
No,
thank
go
you,
ahead,
Brother Joseph. We appreciate that feedback, and we appreciate having you today as well, as always. All right. At this point, we're moving to the fun part, step 5, to financial freedom by our one and only Dr. John Jacqueline, who completed his PhD in chemical and biochemical engineering in the UK. And he has an MBA as well. He was in corporate America for 2 decades. And until 10 years ago, he switched from that to working with financial literacy. So we know who she is. She's one of us. She's the better half of Sister Queen Dr. Patience. And she is a parent and is here to empower us with one of several series that he has been sharing. And by the way, he shares this with us for free. He's not charging us. He comes every Thursday, and this is the 5th time in a row that he's sharing this information. So please, let's welcome Dr. John Jacqueline with open arms as he shares with us part 5 of financial freedom. Okay, here we go. Over to you, bro.
Oh, wow. This has been such an informative hour, Dr. Derek. Thank you very, very much. It's sobering listening to that mindset presentation, and also very important to be able to take a step back and reflect what it is that we're doing with ourselves. So good evening, everybody. And Sister Debbie, the last part I think was the more interesting part, but this one is probably just an informative part of the discussion. And today, I just threw in this topic almost by request, because somebody asked about this last week, and Dr. Derek said maybe we should talk about it. And I'm just going to again introduce it more as a point of discussion, and also as a point so that anybody, at least we can develop this further. And it's to do with credit cards. No, not credit card, to do with bank accounts. So we all know we're on passive, and we are all into a business. And when things start going, we will actually have, probably for those who have other side businesses, you hopefully should have your business accounts now. But for the majority of us, this will be the first time that we'll be venturing outside of our personal banking and start thinking either in terms of business or thinking in terms of business banking. And so I just thought maybe I threw a couple of things here to just help you with your thought process. So when I think about bank accounts, I sort of just break them into 2 broad categories. There are the personal bank accounts, and there are what I call the business bank accounts. And those business bank accounts, whether they're type of corporations, whatever they are, I then thought maybe another broad segment to break down the business bank accounts would be those that you're dealing with for-profit businesses, as well as those that you're dealing with the not-for-profit type businesses. And under those, the two that just popped into my mind was when you talk about trusts and foundations. I've mentioned a couple of times that maybe when we get closer to the end of the year, I'll try and get somebody to come and talk to us about how we can actually set up some of these businesses, and more importantly, how to position them for the purpose of legacy and estate planning purposes. But most of the time, when people talk about trusts, people think of them as being some sort of personal type entities that people can use and control. But for the point of view of this discussion, let's just leave them under the business section and put them as on the not-for-profit, although they are also for-profit trusts. Again, those are complexities I don't want to deal with right now. So when we look at a very high level, what are some of those accounts that are considered personal accounts for this discussion? Those are those accounts that we use for managing our personal finances. It's true that some of us may not actually have bank accounts, but then you probably have other ways that you manage your finances, either through credit unions, or some people have debit cards. And I think our CEO was actually talking the other day that when OnPassive goes live, there's actually going to be a debit card for people who do not have bank accounts, so that they can do their transactions. But again, I want you to start thinking of that debit card in terms of going inside of the business category rather than just your personal. So your personal accounts, will talk about what people typically use them for. They use them, again, if you have to pay bills such as your utility bills, your rents or mortgages, you use those to do purchases, so people can connect their debit cards to them, so that you just pay with the card rather than carrying cash, and it takes the cash out of your bank account. People can actually have those accounts, so if they need cash, they can go take the money from these cash machines, or send personal funds to families, friends, and charities, or whoever you want to write a personal check. Those are why you need personal accounts. But then, if we think of our business as OnPassive, for example, once we start receiving the apples, the first thing that I really want to do is advise everybody to do your best to not commingle those funds with your personal check. Granted, many of us may start up as sole proprietors or freelancers, but the truth of it is, at the end of the year, OnPassive is probably going to give you a 1099, which shows how much money you have made from OnPassive. And it will be a good idea for you to actually maintain a separate account, and you'll see some of the benefits of doing that. Because as a business, if maintain a separate account, it really makes sense. And you can, again, depending on what type of business you want to structure, you can literally still have a business account even as a sole proprietor, as a limited liability company, a partnership, a corporation. All those type of organizations can actually have business accounts. And I'm saying business accounts generally. I'm not talking about necessarily checking, savings, all those investments. I'm just broadly talking about having that business account open for you. And again, depending on the bank that you deal with, You know, you don't even need to be generating income to open a business account. Some institutions will allow you to open it even when you haven't started producing enough income. And again, just like personal accounts, business accounts can be opened in traditional banks, they can be opened in credit unions, they can be opened online and used to manage your business. When it comes to what people really use those business accounts for, again, now paying of suppliers, making deposits to customers, paying your employees. If you have some of those, it will be very, very important to make sure that any payments you make to those employees, you make them through your business account. Because if you actually have one of these services that does your bookkeeping for you, then what's going to happen is at the end of the year, they will actually generate either a 1099 or in the case of in the US here, like a W-2, which you can send to the employees as well as send to the tax authorities to let them know that you actually incurred some expenses in paying these employees. Then you can use them for your operating expenses. Every expense that, again, you talk with your tax person and you can actually have them covered. The best thing is actually put them through your business account and keep your personal account really, really clean. And then obviously at the end of the quarter or whatever period you use for your taxes, again, paying all those expenses out of your business account will actually be beneficial, and we'll touch a bit on those. So when you look at what are some of those features of business account that make it appetizing to actually have one instead of using your personal account? Well, most of them, you know, they provide tools and services that business owners can actually take advantage of while running and make sure their business is run smoothly. Some of those include, you can actually have debit cards for your employees. So just imagine you end up having 1 or 2 employees and they make purchases. You don't want to be giving your card. You may give some of them grants of authority and say you can buy stuff for the company up to $500 or whatever limit you impose. And if you give them a card, they can use that card. Some of the institutions will actually provide you with merchant services for processing card payments. Some of them will provide you with payroll services, bookkeeping, and some even provide financial advisory. So if you want to do like your tax planning, and so you can actually get some of these financial institutions to give you a discount if you own a business account with them. And then just like your personal account, once you open a business account, you can actually open sub saving and checking accounts so that you can actually put your money in one account, or you can have multiple checking accounts for each business to keep things clean. It's really up to you. And this is flexibility that may not necessarily be available with personal checking accounts, although there are some credit unions or so that will allow you to have like sub accounts like a 01, 02, 03, but in most cases they would probably just give you one checkbook, but not, and then you operate all of them from that primary one. The main differences when it comes to personal and business bank accounts include things like, and you need to really do some homework. We'll touch on that a bit more again. When you're opening the account, some institutions will really want you to provide some sort of proof of ownership. If you're in the United States, for example, applying for your EIN, that's employee identification number, is the first step that you should really just go. It's a very simple form. You go online and ask for FEIN, and you can apply for it. You get it within minutes, and that will give you a tax ID number that you can then use to open your account. In some cases, they may actually want you to prove or to provide the banks or with articles of incorporation for your business, or if you choose to call that business by some particular name, like that's a DBA, they would ask you for those names and licenses. Some institutions, especially those that you already have some relationship with them, may not necessarily require you to provide all of that information. So for a start, you may just choose to get your federal employee identification number and just open an account in the beginning and start putting some of your expenses. If Dr. Derek tells us to go ahead and get a good computer that we can use, or get a large screen that you can actually use to do your O-Connect, why not do that through your bank, your business account? That way, you already putting those expenses in one bucket for the year end. Some institutions require us to have like certain minimums before they can allow you to open a business account. The banks and credit unions that would allow people to open personal accounts with little or no money, but when it comes to business accounts, there may be limits that they set. Maybe they'll tell you to open the account with $100 initially, but they'll tell you need to maintain a minimum balance, which is the next item in that account. And you need to be aware of that, because if you don't maintain that minimum balance, they may be charging you annual or monthly maintenance charges. So while having a business account is a good thing, make sure that you know what is required in terms of the minimum deposit as well as the minimum balance that you need to have in that account, so as not to incur charges. Then some business accounts will limit the number of transactions you can make in a week or in a day, or the sizes of transactions. Whatever, whether it's the monetary or the number of transactions you can make free, make sure that when you're opening that business account, you are aware of them and not exceed those numbers, because when you exceed them, they will start charging you. And then obviously the fee structure for most business accounts is different, obviously, because it also comes with a few more features and benefits. Therefore, you want to make sure that the account that you have is benefiting you, not benefiting the bank. But the one big difference between personal and the business accounts is that most of the business accounts actually provide you as the individual with some legal protections. Okay, we know, like for those of us in the United States, that they always say that your bank account is FDIC insured, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. They insure against losses in the bank. But if you have a business and somebody comes in and sues you, and every single thing that you had was in your personal account, it could all be exposed. But if you had a limited liability business, for example, then your liability will be limited to what is in that account and not everything else that you have in your personal account. So a business account in that sense will actually help protect you from some of these legal wars, especially in a litigation society as the one that we live here in the United States. What then are some of the benefits for actually going ahead and having a business account? I alluded to the first one, which is really the idea that it helps you to streamline your accounting. If you think about it, it's easier to keep track of all the cash that comes in and goes out of the same account, rather than if you end up having everything comes in with your utilities, your bills, your food, and then you have to sit and start sorting out which one was for the business, especially you don't know whether the McDonald's charge that you had in your account was when you bought something for the kids, or when you actually went somewhere for business and you are running late and you decided to grab a salad or something there. So keeping those separate, and that goes also with if you have a business credit card versus personal credit card, keeping all those two separate really helps, and it streamlines your accounting. And trust you me, it will help you a lot when it comes to year end or when you want to reconcile your books. The other thing is, some institutions who actually, depending on the size of your business, they can actually allow you to be able to link your business account to some of the bookkeeping tools, and that way you can literally dump your business account into QuickBooks or something and do your financials very easily. Then if you are able to do that, tax reporting becomes easier, because you can easily look at what it is that you have spent on your business and be able to deduct those when it comes to the time for doing your taxes, rather than having to shift through personal data. The other thing which I think is also good, especially when it comes with to do with the tax authorities, is when they look at you with a bank account and you do everything. Just imagine you call Dr. Derek has Dr. Derek Tech as his business. His business card says Dr. Derek Tech. He shows it to somebody, and that the IRS knows that he's registered it as Dr. Derek Tech. His bank accounts show that it is the same thing. They actually provide some sort of legitimization on that business, and they will treat it more differently than if they consider it as a hobby. And when you're setting up accounts as proof, then that will help you in the future. The other part of it, which I talked earlier, was really this idea of protecting your assets by keeping, if in case you got sued, that would be a good reason to keep your business separate from your person. And thinking about growing your business, for example, let's say you have had a business account with a financial institution for a couple of years. They can see how much cash comes in and goes out of your account on a monthly or quarterly basis. If you needed some sort of a finance, loan, or line of credit, the fact that you have that business account itself will actually help you. In fact, most financial institutions will give line of credits to businesses if they show that they have been in existence for at least 3 years. And if you actually have a business account with a financial institution and maintained it for that period of time, you stand a better chance. And then there's this idea of brand identity. You know, if you just reach out and you write a check, or you do a payment to a supplier, and you write, you know, a personal check from John Jongwen versus a business check, they actually look at that business as being, you know, you create more of a brand identity when you use a business bank account versus using your own personal account. And obviously that would enhance your business image when you're depending on the type of clients you're dealing with. And the last benefit, not that there are not many, but the one that I sort of picked and put up here, was the idea that with business accounts, it's really possible to have multiple, say, checking accounts linked to the same business. So you may have separate business units, and you create independent, different accounts for those ones, so that, you know, if you have people who have to make some payments or people who have to make some purchases on behalf of your business, you can actually control it and move certain funds into those accounts and give them the right to be able to manage those accounts without actually getting anywhere close to your own personal account or using your own debit cards, because you don't want any person to be having access to your account when you can create either a bank account or a credit card or a debit card that they can actually go ahead and help you run your business. So really looking at it from what I call a bottom line is, one, it's a good thing to make sure that you keep your personal stuff separate from your business stuff. For all of us here, anything to do with our own passive business, as far as I'm concerned, is a business. And a business account will be needed for that. I stated earlier that if you start as a sole proprietor or as a freelancer, yeah, personal accounts may be okay for that. But I would say as we grow, I will recommend, not just say consider separating the accounts. And the other thing I want to say is, yes, we love our banks. They love us because they play the rule of 72 on us. But don't just jump into your good old bank or credit union and ask them, oh, can I open a business account? And they say yes. Do shop around, because there are lots of different benefits that you get from some of them. In fact, if depending on what you're trying to do, if you're trying to keep a lot of money in your bank account, which I don't know why you want to do that, but you may want to have a very steady bank. But there are some of these online banking companies that will provide probably more features than your brick and mortar. So do your due diligence. Consider why do you need to open the account. Obviously, if they start asking you for a lot of information, especially as you're starting up getting your first business account, then that might be a problem. Consider what minimum deposits they will require. If you have any money once on passive goes live, I'll invest it in your business rather than go tie down like $5,000 in a business account just because that's the minimum you require. Think about the fees. They do vary, and they can vary considerably. So consider what you need to pay to maintain your account. Some of them have monthly maintenance fees, annual maintenance fees, fees if you are below a certain minimum, fees for more than a certain number of transactions. So check on those ones to see if you can pick an institution that is what I'll call fee friendly. And then look at it and see whether those have access to online or mobile apps so that you can do your transactions anywhere. I think anybody who's going to be opening a business account in unpassive better make sure they can have online and mobile access, because if you're going to use booking to go around the world, or the new name when it finally comes, you don't want to be stuck in the same place. And obviously, I mentioned about the transaction limits. They differ. Sometimes those transaction limits, some institutions will allow you to do transactions of more than a certain amount of dollar value over a period of time. Some would limit you to the number of transactions you can do. So just think of a business where you're doing a lot of deposits and withdrawals in a week, and then you open an account that restricts you to about 3 or 4, which means the next set of customers that pay you actually could get penalized. So make sure that you understand those ones and think about what other features that they give. There are many accounts that would actually give you bonuses for opening the accounts. They may give you free merchant services. They may give you, like some waivers for fees, and some will actually link debit cards and credit cards. There are lots and lots of things that are out there. And what I just say is just take time and look at them based on what you think you're trying to do before you open that bank account. Don't really care how nice your bank manager may be, but if at the end of the day they're going to cost you money, then I don't think that's where you want to go. And as the last bullet I just put there is, if you've been managing transactions from a personal checking account up till now, making the switch, to a business might actually be simpler than you think, because a lot of people would just think about, oh my God, I don't want to go open another account. I don't want to start getting into all these other things. But if you look at it, many of us we are now business owners. We are not just dealing with our personal checks. We are going to be dealing with 1099s. We'll be dealing with subscription of products through OnPassive, and all of any cost that goes into OnPassive, including activation and so on. Those are all business expenses. And the best way that you can actually make sure that you account for them is start having an account where you can at least show where all those incomes that are going to match those expenses to make life easier for you. Those are some of the ideas that I thought I should just throw out right now, and let's talk about them. If anybody has some questions, if the financial gurus in the house has any further advice, I'm going to pause and let's open up for more contributions and more discussions. Thank you very much, and I want to hand it over back to our Queen Debbie.
Wow, Dr. John. I don't know, that's just, oh, my favorite. You nailed it today, because I have questions for you. But I'll take the nail off because Pastor Paul's hand is up. And I know with the time difference, he's taken my place. He has not been sleeping because he saw the topic and he wanted to take over. So I'll come back to you, Dr. John. Pastor Paul, welcome. I don't know if you're still awake or is the baby who woke you up, but I see you're here. So
I am fully awake.
I'm glad you're taking my place today.
Yeah. Good morning from here, Queen Debbie, and I know Dr. John, Financial Cocoa. I will not want to miss it because there's a lot of things that are cooking on the underground. And I wish, thank you so much, Dr. John. Now I wish many of my people, Nigerians, are here because a lot of them does not really have the basic understanding of how those things work. And I think recently a collection of some of them are already trying to get money from individual founders to run into a cooperative account, business operation in the name of, in a view to access money from a microfinance bank for subscription. But because of their lack of knowledge, I have to get them that nobody should try that because the possibilities are not there, based on my experience with banks. And what you are saying here, they are very, very important, that any reasonable person that will want to, especially in our developing societies where banks, imagine traditional banks operate like individual persons that can defraud customers anyhow. So I really appreciate everything you have said, because I am a victim of some of them. And then I have a very deep understanding of so many because of the transaction over time. I think during the subscription of OnPassive, because of our policy, our CBN regulation limiting account owners from how much you can spend from your Naira account, we have engaged banks with a lot of things. At the end of the day, the excess of some of their business packages with the volume of dollar that you can get monthly, at the end, they stop it. You can't get it, but their monthly charges from their account, whether you like it or not, they are debiting it every month. And you can see, you can imagine how painful it is when you are not getting the services, but they don't mind. They are already removing your money every month. And if you dare go for closing of account, is another story for another century. So you will just be there losing everywhere. Again, they will entice you just like you say, how friendly, how nice is your bank managers. Those they are wicked operation, deduction, and all of those things are not done at the branch level. So the manager has nothing to do, no sympathy or no way. So at the end, when they rope you in, you are the mercies of whatever they do, because even the manager cannot even say anything to what they do. Currently, I was summoned to one of the banks that, okay, they are the first banks now that have partnered with American Express in Nigeria, which is Access Bank. They are the first to have achieved that currently, and I have been profiled to get the American Express credit card. All the ones we have, MasterCard, Visa, Gold, all of them are debit cards. But the American Express is credit card. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. But when you go down, I have to go to 2 different managers. When you go deeply, because I don't want to be victim of any, at least for now, because I have a lot of them, more than 12 or 14 different accounts, both corporate and business and service already. So I just have to go down, ask questions, a lot of questions. And I discovered that even from the beginning, what they says within 2 weeks, the talk has changed. They are now saying that the information from the corporate was misconstrued at different branch level, that it was no more. You just have to come with 5,000 plus $1 as collateral and all of those things. So I think it really called for carefulness, so that because these financial issues, at the end of the day, we will not just be working for somebody who did not know how long we have suffered and how far we have come and how many sleepless nights we have had in the course of webinar with OnPassive. They will just come, will just be working, they will just be collecting the money. And I know with where we started from, with a lot of religious meditation, I can say, God forbid, none of us will be victim of monkey they walk, baboon they chop. Thank you very much, Dr. John. And I believe the recording of this presentation will be available for those of us that Dr. Derek has intentionally and Nicodemously planned that we must partake in this webinar. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'll leave that fight between you and Dr. Derek to take. But yes, Pastor Paul, thanks for that addition, because especially those of us, again, I focus primarily on on the US, but listening to your story, and I know that even like I was in Cameroon, I know of situations where people go put in money and then they take the money when they're opening the business account. So just imagine you had like $10,000 that you were going to do a business. You came in there. They said, yes, good. You have a business account. You put the $10,000 there. Yes, you have to prove that those funds were not stolen from somewhere. But then the next month or so, you have a project. You need 8,000, and you show up. They tell you that, well, you have to leave at least half of that money in the account because that's what's required. So that's where that last slide, which I was talking about making the due diligence. becomes very important, because if you remember, like 3 sessions back, when I shared the rule of 72, I said, you know, the financial institutions, they love to take your money, they love to keep it as long as possible, and they love to pay it out to you as slowly as possible. That's by design. It's nothing to do with the branch. So if you are opening any of these accounts, that's why it's important to really do this. Just ask those questions, especially minimum requirements. What are the fees? What are some of the number of transactions I can do before I start getting into any issue? Those very basic questions, I think any person in a branch that opens those accounts will tell you. If in doubt, ask them to give you the literature for the conditions that you need for that particular account. Take them away, read them the evening, and then come back the next day. Thank you, Pastor Paul.
Wow, Pastor Paul, I know what you're going through, so don't think we don't understand. We do. I've experienced it as well. But thank you so much for being able to make it today. And thank you, Dr. John. I will come back because I have a couple of questions myself with some burning issues. Queen Sister Dr. Patience. Then I'll ask my question and pass it over to Dr. Benny. Why are you muting yourself, sis?
I don't know, sorry. I'm muted, I'm confused. Well, Dr. Derek, I just want to say thanks again for sharing some of us with all the lifetime holistic and presentation, fantabulous. And wow, financial step part 5. Lord, some of us have to go to school. This is going to be difficult. That was, I'll just leave the people that have questions. But what I just say is that time for making us realize that we are in a business and we have to start thinking about being business owners and what it comes to be a business owners. Because if you don't have all this information, you either put yourself in a mess or lose out of benefits. So we have to really start changing our mindset. I know this platform has been there. Dr. Derek and co on this platform has been preaching that. Remember, you were business owners, business owners, business owner. And now we are getting the financial presentation to get us ready for that. I just want to thank you for taking your time to do your research and bring your knowledge and share with us. Now I am confused. Yeah, actually, this take me back. I had an account once that they were charging. They were charging when you go below a certain minimum, and I didn't realize. And one day I went to the bank thinking that I might have put a 1 or 2 cents interest on my balance. I was owing the bank money because they keep charging me for not being at my minimum allowed balance. Can you believe that? Every month they will charge because I'm not meeting. So now they charge me on top of their negative. And like, it was an eye opener for me. Like, seriously, I put my money here, you take the little that I had, and now I'm owing you. It did not make sense. But these are the things that sometimes we don't take into consideration. We just say, oh, I need an account, open, go. We don't even know the implications. We don't know whether I have annual fee. We don't know whether I have. And the second one, too, I had an online account. I did not even know when I opened it. I went to the bank one. They said, no, your account, you cannot talk to us physically. It's online. So we really have to know what we are getting ourselves when we get all these account, the limitations, what it entails. So thanks for bringing that again up. I really don't have a question. I thought I'll pass that to Mama McCormick, but I just want to say thanks for that so we can start thinking and getting ready. We are now business owners. Actually, I've been 9 to 5, just be consumed. Somebody tell me what to do, I do, and at the end they give me a paycheck. So I've been working to change my mindset, okay? I've done that for 30 plus years. I've never owned a business as such, so this is the time that we need this preparation. And thanks, Dr. Derek, for this platform, that we come in and learn and get ourselves prepared for when our business start rolling. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
And for Pastor Paul, we are live streaming, so it will be in the YouTube channel. And I'll just put the link of this particular video in the chat soon. Thank you.
Thank you, sis. Thank you so much for your input and for the link, because I know our brothers, due to the time difference, it's you have to be dedicated to be up at this time of the morning to follow us. So Pastor Paul, we appreciate you. I'm sure everyone would love to watch the video. So over to you, Dr. John. I have these burning questions. I lost money with the post office in Cameroon because I deposited it. I went to take it. They told me there's no money today. Come tomorrow. There's no money. Finally, the post office closed and I never got the money. I came to America. I had my issues. My first credit card, the maximum I had was $75. And whatever I had, I would pay it off. However, when I graduated from kindergarten to grade school and then finally high school, and now I opened a business account for my non-for-profit, I did not realize what I was getting myself into. The first statement I got, I had 30% deductions. And those deductions were termed, it's for saving the addresses of donors, which is a different company. It's for allowing you to use other secondary and tertiary companies that work with the bank, which I didn't know from the beginning. There was a company that is in charge of allowing credit cards. That one charges a different fee. Another one that does a spreadsheet, they charge a different fee. So all of that compound together, I lost $3,000 out of $10,000. And the financial person I was working with just would not, each time when I started it, each time I asked a question, they don't give me direct answers. I will get back to you. I never got back to me. So let me make my story short. What would you advise people who have similar situations? What should we do? Who to go to? Because I went to this bank because they didn't have any minimum for non-for-profit. They don't. That's what they told me up front. They don't charge minimum, depending on your balance. As long as you start with a minimum of $500 and you don't go below that figure. As long as it's above that figure, they don't charge you monthly maintenance services. But yet they still hit with that 30%, which is grouped together under all others, which I was never informed of at the beginning. So how can what should I do to be able to get out of this? Because all the banks I go to, they're asking for so many things, 10 times more than the current one in which I am. Thank you.
Yeah, that's something we probably need to actually do a lot of homework there. You remember I talked about the same thing, that most of the time when you walk into a bank, and that's most of the way we tend to gravitate towards the bank we've been dealing with. Unfortunately, even as I think Pastor Paul was saying, or who made that comment earlier, that when you reach out there, the bank manager really has no control. It is the corporate that has those. The first thing for everybody, really, please, the adverts that the banks always put is, we'll give you $750 after your first expenditure. We'll give you no annual fee. And then most of the time, when they put those comments, they put like a little asterisk next to it. And when they put that little asterisk, every time you see an asterisk, go to the bottom for the fine print, because the fine print now is going to tell you the true story. And I know that in the past, the banks were not allowed, they were not obliged to provide those details, but with some of the recent legislation, which happened especially after the 2008 bank crash, the banks would actually provide that information, but it's very narrow. So without really looking into your situation, I would say I'll call other institutions, even including some of the online services. I'll check and see whether there are any other, whether there are some out there that I can recommend to you. I didn't want, when I was looking at the information for this, I didn't bring any names. One, because I don't want to advertise them. Two, those would be extremely US-centric. So I can look at some, and what we need to do is literally call them and say, listen, I am a non-for-profit. This is what we're doing. We've gathered this little amount of money, and we want to use it for, humanitarian purposes. The last thing I want to do is lose a penny. What can you do here? And let's know your complete charges, because what I'm hearing is that the account you have has already included some of that bookkeeping stuff there for you, and they're charging you for a bookkeeping service that you probably just signed without realizing. So we can actually look into that, because 3,000 out of 10, I can think of how many boreholes that can dig up for people who need water, and that's not what we want to do. So maybe we can really look at that particular one more, because I have a personal interest in that project you're working in.
Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. Appreciate it. All right. I wish I didn't bring it up.
No, but I mean, if we don't bring it up, you're gonna be bleeding the money, and that's not what you said the NGO offer.
Yeah, very true. Would have gone for the pump or a lot of cables and other things. All right, Dr. Benny. Oh, what time? Okay, it's all right. Queen Lily. Oh, the mother of the house. Welcome, Queen Lily.
Thank you so much, Queen Debbie.
Thanks for the beautiful smile.
I just want to say that, Dr. Derek, you slayed tonight. That was awesome. And I do want to say that I'm almost there where you talked about, but I do want to say that my father lived to be 104. And I'm not on any medications at all. None. I take no medication. So I'm doing well, but I still got some ways to go. Dr. John, you slayed it again tonight. I tell you, the more you talk about this stuff, the more I wonder, am I going to be able to do all of it?
Yes, you will.
I will.
Yes.
All right, but
we're a team, and nobody's going to be left behind unless they choose to be.
All right. I do have a CPA, but he's in Maryland, and I'm thinking about moving, getting me one locally so that I can have a more one-on-one with them. But I like the information that you share with us. I appreciate the opportunity, the learning curve that I'm getting. I just love it. I love it. And I really appreciate what you and Dr. Derek are doing for us and all of the others presenters. So thank you very much, Queen Debbie. And I just look forward to more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Queen Lily. And listen, that more information is coming. It will always be available as long as you keep smiling and coming with us. When that time comes, we'll be tagging along together and going on those locations together. I'm building the Jamaican homes and the affiliate for every single Jamaican. We'll be doing that together, and hopefully you'll tag along with me to add to my boreholes.
That's good. I just closed on a house Wednesday last week.
Exactly, as well as Dr. Benny's St. Jude children that she's been craving to help out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, I'm not seeing any hands raised, so I'm assuming that there are no more additional questions for Dr. John. And I was just going to call on Queen Kanla because she's supposed to take the show here going forward, and she raised her hand. Queen Kanla, you're welcome, sis. How are you?
Yes, I am doing great, just wonderful. Oh my gosh, Dr. John, awesome, awesome presentation. I just want to add my voice to say wonderful job laying out all the material. Simple, understandable, yet a lot to comprehend, but you did it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes. There is a question in the chat that I would like to read out from King Walton to you. Dr. John, I want to say thanks for sharing your knowledge with us again and again. I joined the webinar late, just got the 2 last slides you share. However, would you be able to provide a small list of most important questions be needed to ask our banks, etc., when opening up a business account?
I think what I attempted to do on this last slide, which I think Brother Wilton actually met, was really an attempt to capture some of those key things that we need to talk to when we go to whether we go to a bank or we're looking online for a business account. The first one, as I said, is what is it, just the conditions for opening the account? You know, what type of information do you need? Do you need me to have a registered business? Do you need me to have as I said, a federal employee identification number or a tax ID? Some may actually need your the articles of incorporation, all of that stuff. If you just find out what information do I need, and you may find out that some people just say, oh, we don't have any specific requirements, or we just need your bank name. And then you ask, what are the minimum requirements for opening this account? Do I need to have like a certain minimum deposit to open that account? $500, $100, $50? How much do I need to open that account? And how much do I need to have in that account as a minimum so that I don't get charged? That should be a question you ask when you want to ask about fees. Please tell me about all your fees. Are there any fees associated with the number of transactions I need to do? Or are there any limits to the transactions? Because some accounts, I actually looked into a business account that will allow just 10 free transactions a week. And a transaction is either a payment into or a withdrawal from that account. So if you've gone past those number of transactions in a week, there is a charge. So let the bank actually give you the full disclosure statement, which talks about the fees, the limitations on the number of transactions, the limitations on how much you can withdraw. We know in the US that most banks typically give you like a $500 spending limit. Those limits are different for business accounts. You may want to find out if there is a limit, because if you're dealing with transactions and they limit you to $500 a day, it may not be good for your business. And then you want to find out what other features are associated with the account and what are their costs. Like Queen Debbie just talked about, the account that she has became a feature-rich account with bookkeeping costs, data storage costs, maybe some personnel information storage. Those are features there, but nobody told her, at least clearly at the beginning, that those come with a charge. Make sure that you find out that information, and then once you find out that information, you can turn around and look at it and say, okay, do I really want to keep this account? Because I mean, you could actually choose to get an account with features which really you know what you're paying for. I mean, as a related thing, I remember last time when we talked about credit cards, and I kept telling people to always go for credit cards that have free annual fees. And I remember I had done some calculations with my American Express, and I realized that the benefits I would have by taking a credit card that had no annual fees was better than having an account that actually had some annual fees. But when I sat down with my daughter and I started looking at another credit card we have, I realized that based on how much we actually spend on our credit card, we could actually take a card and pay $75 annual fee, and the points and the benefits more than double. And when we did the math, we realized, you know what, if we actually choose to go the $75 route based on our average expenditure, we can actually be making a lot more money, or we can gain a lot more benefits from that credit card than if we stay on the free account. So same thing goes here for your features of your business account. You may find an account that actually charges you a fee, and on top of that fee, they give you benefits that you would otherwise have to go outside and pay for. Look at them, do your due diligence, and see whether that suits your need. For those of us who will be starting off at the beginning when we don't actually have a lot of cash flow coming in, my recommendation would be to go for those accounts that have no costs associated with them, just to build that brand recognition and to start creating that business account history. And at some point in time, you can always upgrade that account. So those are some of the key things that I will look at and ask the bank to give me the full disclosure of all their charges and benefits. I'll go read them. If I have questions, I ask somebody before I open that account. I hope that helped, Brother Wilton.
Well, the question was in the chat. I'm assuming he probably is behind the wheel. I'm assuming it did help.
Okay. And if any question, we can always cycle back.
Queen Kamla, are you still here?
Yes.
All right. I don't know.
She is muted. She cannot unmute herself.
Oh. She's co-host?
I don't know. She's not.
Let me see where she is, because the screen is, with your screen, I can't see more than 4 people. Let me see.
She's not co-host. You have to make her co-host.
Oh.
Dr. Derry has to make her co-host. She's not co-host. People can unmute her.
Yeah, I was just trying to find her because we're not on the same page. Queen Kanla, I just unmuted you and someone take you back again.
I've asked her to unmute herself. Dr. Derry, you have to make her co-host.
All right. Yes. Can you hear me now?
We
can.
All right. Yes. Sorry about that. Yeah. So I think that is the only question we had in the chat as of now. So thank you for that response, Dr. John. At this time, I will call on Ambassador Mumudu. Please go ahead and ask your question or share with us your comments.
Yes, Queen Carla, good evening, and good evening to you all. I just want to thank Dr. John for an outstanding presentation. You know, the question I have, some of us have not registered our companies yet. And he advised that we should try to register, to open a business account as when we were we will be started paying our subscription for the product so that they will be included into our business account. And in opening a business account, I think they might need some documentation with regards to the business. So what is the best advice? To wait after a registration of the business or the company before you open the account, or there is another way to open a business account before registering?
Okay, Bramomodu, there are a couple of steps here. One, most of the time when people are trying to open businesses, if you already have your business name, for example, you can create a business right now and get like, since you're in the US, you can get a tax ID. Just go to the IRS website and you register to get a tax ID. It's free, and they'll ask you whether you have a business name. Yes, you can call it Momodu Inc. for now, and they give you a tax ID, and then you can take that tax ID and go like to your bank and actually have a bank account. Again, some banks would allow you to open. I think when I opened my my first bank account, business account, I actually went to a bank of a branch that I was using initially, and I told them that I am starting a consulting business and I need to open a business account. I told them that I have a federal tax ID number and I need to open a business account because when I do my consulting, I want to be paid directly to my business. And the bank did actually open an account for me. Yes, they told me that I needed to have at least $500 in that account every month so as not to get the monthly charges. They also told me that I was restricted to 5 transactions a week, or was it a month, whatever. But since I knew that I would be having maybe 2 paychecks coming in a month, and I would probably make one payment to I basically had like ADP that does like the normal payroll stuff. I would write out one check to ADP, and then there was the ADP would do all my tax breakdown, and then write me a check for my to my personal account. And so I ended up doing just about 1 or 2 transactions in that account. Yes, the bank was willing to open that account for me, even though I had not actually started business, because I explained to them that I was going to be doing a consulting. And that's why I say, if you find out, yes, you may find, or you may get some of them. And if at some point in time you change your business name, I think you can actually go back into the IRS and update that file. So you don't necessarily need to wait till, at least for those in the US, I said, you can get the tax ID number right now if you want to.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Because the last time I visited my bank manager and started informing him, but because I was thinking about this registration of the company, I just inquire and inform him in advance.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
okay,
so
thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Yeah, once you go to irs.gov for those in the US and just search for employee ID numbers, you can go register for one and get yours like today.
Yeah,
Sometimes
because I'm thinking about registering an S corporation, So I'll be able to incorporate all my accounts that I have.
So before you do that, this is not only to you, but generally for everybody. My suggestion in terms of going ahead to register an LLC or S corp or whatever is really to just hold on for now. Don't spend.
Yeah, that's
money.
what I'm doing now.
Yeah, just you can even just, as I said, I started. Again, if you have money to spend, you can do an LLC because you can do an LLC and convert it to an S corp later on. It doesn't really matter because those can always, or you can do an LLC and set it to be taxed as an S corp later on. But my advice to everybody is just don't go spending money now, because some people may actually become big corporations. Some people may be limited liability corporations, and some will be S corp. I know a lot of people say go for S corp. I'll tell you, S corp has a lot more paperwork to get in before you set it up than an LLC. LLCs are easier to set up, and with an LLC you can always get taxed as an S corp. So don't go spending money yet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Wow. All right. Thank you, Brother Momodo. At this time, I would like to call on Brother Joseph. Your hand is raised. Please ask your question or share with us your comments. Queen Debbie, can you unmute Brother Joseph, please?
Oh, Dr. Okay, it's okay now.
Thank you, Dr. John. I have 2 questions. Okay. Following your example, for example, when you talked about the consultancy account, that was when you were doing it as an individual, or when you were doing it with other people and you had to pay them through the account. Secondly, if we open an account with we'll create a company, and we have, say, 3, 4, 5 accounts with on passive. Can we group those accounts in under that business?
Okay, Brajo, thank you. First one, and you asked whether the LLC that I set up as an S corp, or sorry, as an individual. Yes, my LLC at the moment is where we got just 2 people in that LLC now, as 2 of us as employees. But I have had a situation where at the end of the year, I actually had like 2 or 3 1099s that are issued to people, and you can, when you're dealing with say, I mean, again, I'm sorry if I'm more being US centric here, but I was using ADP to do my bookkeeping, and I actually had them set up to pay employees. I mean, it was not a huge amount. So whenever I had a 1099 that came from my consulting business, I put the 1099 to my business account. Then separately, ADP would run a payroll for as many people as I want to put in there. I mean, you're paying them per payroll that they create, as long as you have money in your account. And then they create either W-2s or 1099s for those employees. And they say, okay, if you're going to pay these 3 or 4 people this month, you need $10,000. And if you have those funds in your business account, ADP just pulls that one transaction, and they can distribute it. So yes, you can still have your company set up as your individual company, and you pay staff that could be, let's say you You even had somebody who was doing your laundry, somebody was doing your lawn, somebody who is doing, I'm just throwing examples here, and you want to pay them, you can still pay them and provide them with W-2s or 1099s using your individual business. And in my case, I am set up as an LLC, but I work with my CPA to make sure that I am taxed as an S Corp. So that's why I tell people don't go spending that money yet. The second question was, if you remind me.
Yeah, my second question was, if you have multiple accounts with on passive, can you group them under one business account?
At the moment, that's my thinking, but I'm not going to do anything yet because Mr. Mufare had told us that at some point when we go live, we will be able to manage most of our accounts through one. So at the end of the day, if internally OnPassive gives me that opportunity, I'm going to literally group my, personally, I'm just telling you my thinking, it may change tomorrow. I'm going to have my accounts, I'm going to have like 2 buckets of accounts. There will be the what I call the for-profit account, and there will be the non-for-profit account, and anything, any accounts that I have earmarked specifically for charity, those are going to go into the for or not-for-profit, and those that are earmarked as for-profit, they're going to get into one account. And if I then do any transactions out, yes, they will go into one business. And for some other people, they may choose other structures, for example, and those are some of the things I'm hoping that when we'll get the expert in the 4th quarter, he'll talk more about, is we may set it up as a holding company, and then that holding company has doing business as this and as that, as and that, and then you have like one holding company which manages everything. So there's still a bit more to that for now, but I would say for now, both options are available, and I just want to hold until maybe we see how OnPassive is going to do it internally before I do anything external.
If I may still ask another question, from what you said on the consultancy account, if you were, say for example, I'm just using what you said, that you pay somebody who is who's mowing the yard or who is working somewhere, is that considered as part of the business or personal?
That's if I am now going out to work as and that we talked about that a bit as to what qualifies as business expenses. So if I am, say if I have somebody and my business is OnPassive, and now because I need to be doing a lot of work in OnPassive, I talk with my CPA and they realize that instead of spending my 1 hour cutting my grass, I'll be making more money doing my OnPassive work and pay somebody to cut my grass, and that is a legitimate expense that I can do, that I can claim. Then yes, I can actually pay that individual. But the specific individuals that I have paid to date were people that sort of helped me with the consulting. Most of them were 1099s, and only one did a short term that we chose to do a W-2. But the CPAs, that's where they really come in to tell you what is fair and reasonable. And I would say that when we talked about it, and I think the tax professionals in the house will probably help us to help us as to what are some of those elements that we can actually pay for as business expenses.
Okay, thank you so much.
Right.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. John. We appreciate that. And a new question just came up in the chat, this time from Ambassador Pedro says, good night. I came in late, but I'm following excellent presentation. I have a question. I have a holding company that can work beside that. I have an account at a credit union. Can that work as well?
He has a holding company that can work along with a, yes.
Can
so
work beside, yeah.
If it's a holding company, then a holding company means that you can actually have like sub companies, sub businesses that feed into that holding company, and those sub accounts can have their accounts in separate banks. That could include the credit union or the online. So I personally don't think there's a problem there. But I mean, I hope I understood your question. But generally, once you have a holding company, holding companies tend to, as the name implies, have other subsidiary companies, and those subsidiary companies can have their independent bank accounts. Remember, on one of the pages, I mentioned that one of the beauties of a business account is that you can actually create sub accounts to keep things clean. So if you have like a holding company and a holding company has like a dry cleaning business, you may want to keep the accounts of the dry cleaning business separate and still link it up to that holding company account.
All right. Thank you, Dr. John. Please let us know if you're satisfied with the answer or if you have a follow-up question. In the meantime, Brother Walton says he is satisfied with your answers, Dr. John. So
thank you.
That's how we do it in Deep Dive. All right. No more questions in the chat. I would like to pass it over to our moderator, Queen Debbie.
Thank you, Sister Kanla and Dr. John. We appreciate you always enriching us with this financial knowledge, something that we can't just pick up from anywhere. Very much appreciated. And Dr. Derek, we thank you for giving us this platform, for always educating us on a regular basis, especially when it comes to healthy eating. And I see Sister Queen Mary Lee. We haven't seen you for some time. Welcome back. Yes, after party coming up. Yes, Queen Kanla.
I'm sorry, another question just popped up in the chat. All right, hopefully this will be the last. This is from Ambassador Jose Maria. Please, Dr. John, could you provide the financial calculation spreadsheet you demonstrated on the previous steps financial freedom part 4? Just a blank copy so we could use it.
Okay, I sent her a private chat, so you can call me afterwards and then we can figure out how she can get it.
Okay.
That's how we do it.
This is how we do it. All right, over to you.
Okay, at this time, I want to say thank you to all our YouTube viewers. We appreciate you joining us today. This is the end of today's webinar, and we're moving to the next party, the next part of our evening. And we hope to see you again next week, Tuesday and Thursday, same time. So thanks again for being with us today. Dr. Derek?
His avatar is so bored.
Okay.
Recording stopped.